When most people think about hotel deal makers, the first person that comes to mind is Donald Trump. But when Donald Trump thinks about hotel deal makers, the first person that comes to mind is Craig Sullivan, who has closed more than $25 billion worth of hotel deals nationally and internationally. The king of hotel deal making can put together a deal faster than a Hollywood marriage and close a deal faster than a divorce without a prenup. In this episode, Craig Sullivan will tell us how to close a hotel real estate deal. All this and more in this episode of True Hotel Leaders, where leaders teach leaders. This episode was brought to you by Hotel Guest Management, the #1 hotel revenue experts. Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan of hotels. And today, thank you for joining us for another episode of True Hotel Leaders. We have the man, the myth, the legend. This man has closed more hotels than Donald Trump wished he ever could. We have the great Craig Sullivan, my mentor, here in the house. What's going on, Craig?
Hey, good to see you. Thank you
for joining us.
How are you? How's the family?
Man, they are doing great. My little one is he's growing up so fast, and he does not want to walk at all. He's like, I like crawling. I'm gonna stay crawling. You can't make me.
They do have a mind of their own. Yes. My little one is turning 42 later this year. And
don't tell me he's still crawling.
No. Well, sometimes. That's all self-induced. But my grandson turned 7 as we record this. So,
oh, beautiful. I can't wait to get to that age.
Oh, I got to tell you, it's just, I get a lot of grandpa time, and it's just really a lot of fun. I just love it. It's so much easier than being a parent. I can do whatever I want. I can take him wherever we want to go, and then, okay, good night.
My job is over with.
Exactly. I'm the fun grandpa.
For sure. So listen, tell everybody, how the hell did you get into the hotel business? What was your start, and what made you stick with it?
That was a very happy accident. I was working for a national title insurance company, and I was basically a lender representative, which meant that I'd call on the banks, the commercial loans coming from credit unions, and various other Wall Street firms on commercial real estate. And my personal attorney had several hotel clients, and we happened to do a couple of deals, and he loved the way things happened, and I was actually just bored out of my mind. And if I hadn't gone all in, I'd probably be selling t-shirts out of a kiosk at the Ala Moana shopping center on Oahu. But I got into it, and I met the owners of Tarsadia Hotels. And Two Sharp Hotel had this incredible team, and they were stepping up from being an extremely strong select service hotel ownership and management company to full service. What is today the Hyatt Regency Orange County in Garden Grove was one of his first acquisitions.
Wow.
And he's the one that put the atrium on what was a small Hyatt Regency in a rather large office building and turned it into what it is today, added the additional meeting space, added the other F&B components, and then they were also, the Marriott in Anaheim is one of their joint ventures with Marriott. And I was at their feet learning and teaching them about how to read a preliminary title report, how to get the deals closed on time. And I went back and told my boss, I said, here's all my clients, here's a business plan, and here's a mission statement. He goes, you're going to starve for 2 years after he read it.
Wow.
He goes, but you just stay duck and cover. I'll take care of everything.
Okay.
So being owned by a Wall Street company, it was, it's not what you did for me yesterday, it's what are you going to do for me today?
Yeah.
And if you're not profitable, you're dead weight, and they cut you.
Yeah.
So he hid me for 2 years. And then when they found me, they called a meeting, and then they saw I was starting to have that upward momentum, and my projections were over $1 billion worth of business that year. And that came to fruition. And the president of the company, the division president in California, took my immediate 2 bosses and myself out for dinner, and I showed up late, okay? Matter of fact, I forgot about the dinner. I got a phone call. Where the hell are you? Okay. So I, quickly put on a jacket and a shirt, and got over there. And she looked me dead in the eye and said, "Don't think I don't know what you've done." Because I was pirating people. I was creating this hotel practice within this publicly held company.
Wow.
Without any authorization.
Wow.
Okay. And I said, "Okay, fine. Can I ask you a question?" She goes, "Sure." I said, "What would have your answer been if I would have asked?" And she says, "Would have been no." I said, "There you go." And again, my immediate bosses read the business plan, read the mission statement, and they knew I was going to succeed. And it just ignited something in me, and I got to understand all the facets of the acquisition, of the redevelopment play, if there is one. The repositioning of a hotel asset, the refinancing of it, and how the cash calls work with partners and the investment side. And it led me to closing nearly $25 billion worth of hotel transactions nationally and internationally. And then Westmont Hospitality was my other really large account, and took me more on that national journey and international. And I got to tell you, most difficult deal I ever worked on was a Hyatt in Cancun. It was owned by a Mexican national who filed bankruptcy.
Wow.
Hyatt wanted to get close to Westmont and said, "Hey, we won't call this a core asset, and you can manage it." And they did. Well, I had to deal with the attorneys. To add to it, the lender was in Wiesbaden, Germany.
Wow.
First thing I did was all conversations have to be on Pacific Coast time. Okay? I'm getting up at 4 a.m. to make a 5 a.m. call to Wiesbaden to talk to the lender because they've got questions. It's almost 5 p.m. at that point. And they don't want to be there late, and I don't want to get up at 3 a.m. So, and then there's in Mexico, there's only one bankruptcy court, and it's in Mexico City. So every time there's an order, you have to send a runner from the bankruptcy court, in this case to Cancun, to file a notice there and also post a notice on the asset itself. So it was a lot of moving parts, but it was a great education.
Man, I'm hoping you get a lot more sleep now.
Yeah, I do. But it's again, it was a happy accident, and it completely changed my career. And then I had another big career change when I was chief development officer at a small boutique ownership and management group. I came back from the lodging conference upset because a lot of people on stage at the main event were bagging on California. And I'm going, wait a minute, and at the time, this was 8.5 years ago, we had the 6th largest global economy.
Yeah.
And I'm going, how about a little respect?
Yeah.
And I called 10 industry leaders, said, I'd like to have you in my office at this time on this day for a meeting. And that's all I'd say to them. Figured, I'm going to use my title.
That's right.
Okay?
That's
CDO,
right.
Chief Development Officer at a hotel company. They all said yes. They were all different disciplines. Okay? I had a brand there. I had a lender there. I had a #1 hotel broker in California there. Had management company there outside of us, and I gave them an elevator pitch to launch the conference. And we actually came up with the name at that initial meeting. And everybody said they were in. And to take it a step farther, so there was no posturing or somebody calling and saying no, I sent everybody an individual invitation.
Yeah.
So nobody knew who was going to be there till they showed up.
That was genius.
Yeah.
That was genius.
And so we're bouncing the idea of the name, and I can't remember. I said, okay, it's got to be California. It's got to do something with hotels. So somebody said California Hotel Investment Conference. And I looked at them and I went, no way. I am going to get my behind kicked for the rest of my life because that acronym is CHIC.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. So I replaced the hotel with lodging, and that's how we came up with CLIC. Nice. So yeah, it's self-promoting premier event, but we only focus on the California hotel market. We got our trade organizations there, we got lenders there, we got management companies there, we get social media people there, and we give back a percentage of our gate in form of scholarships to our trade associations.
That's beautiful. And it's an amazing conference. Like all the who's is at that conference. Even if they're not from California, they still go to that conference.
As I'm fond of saying, if you're in the California hotel market or want to be, you should be there.
Yeah.
If you're, and there's a lot of investors that don't live in California. Mm-hmm. And this is an opportunity for them to come in and socialize the night before and have a one-day event, great information, and go back to their office the next day or the day after if they're coming in from New York.
Yeah.
That they can start, spreading the information that they got. They can talk to everybody and go, okay, this is what I'm hearing firsthand from being at this event. And we've got everybody in one room. So if you're in the middle of a deal, good possibility your brand's there because we've got 10 hotel brands that are sponsors. Good possibility your lender's there. Good possibility your hotel broker's there. We've got a couple of title companies there.
Yeah.
So everybody's right there. If there's a fire, you've got everybody in one room. Step outside, fix it, come back in and enjoy the conference, So,
nice.
I've got a ticket with your name on it for next year. We'll be March 6th and 7th in Orange County, California.
I'll be there, even if I have to bring my son with me. He'll hopefully be walking.
Yeah. Get the backpack.
Speaking of title companies, what are some of the things that hotel investors should be looking for when they're searching for a title company, and explain what does the title company do in the closing process?
Title and escrow are typically under the same roof. Mm-hmm. So I always found it easier. Now, California has a lot of independent escrows. On the East Coast, mostly your attorneys are escrow and title. They're an agent for a title company. Mm-hmm. But I like it all under one roof. So I typically, hotels, okay? Do they have an experienced hotel team to handle title and escrow? Can they not only, check the public records for mortgages and derogatory items like, say, tax liens or delinquent taxes or judgments or something like that, but they can also check for UCC filing, especially because you're selling the business as well. You've got the business and the real estate going.
Can you explain those two things? Because I think a lot of people get confused when they don't understand that there's a business side and the real estate side.
A hotel is more than just an operating cash business. It's also a real estate transaction, and it's about putting heads in the bed, but it's also about taking that asset and that real estate and enhancing it so that you enhance its value. So you want to make sure that your seller's your seller.
Okay.
There aren't any derogatory items, like say a judgment or a federal tax lien, less pendants on, somebody's trying to seize the property.
Okay.
Via judgment. things of that, what the loans are as of that certain date. So those get cleared off. Those get paid off during the escrow process. And before the keys are handed to you and they do a table closing, that's the old-fashioned way. Now it's all electronic, luckily, so you can be anywhere. But, it gives you the opportunity to look at what the public record is showing. And say you're going to redevelop it. You want to know where all the easements are. Mm-hmm. You want to see an ALTA survey. You want to see a color-coded map, exactly where the easements are, and via the survey and the recorded documents. Are there any unrecorded leases? Was there an assignment of lease? Where's the lease? What happened there? Why is there an assignment? You got to dig in and make sure that the picture that you're seeing is accurate. And you then, when it's transferred, both the business and the real estate, you're insured up into that typically 8 a.m. in the morning on that particular day. So anything after that, you're subject to and you have to take care of. Gotcha. But if there's something that sneaks in between, let's say the seller went out and got a quiet second deed of trust for whatever reason, and it came in there like a week before you closed, and all of a sudden you're getting notices, like, what do you mean?
Wow.
No, the guy doesn't own it.
Wow.
This wasn't part of it. So you go back to the title company and they have to cure that defect and protect you. They have to stand by their policy. Then there's all types of endorsements, that say an easement's it's not locatable because the legal description's changed over the years from sectionalized property to, in case the Western U.S., Spanish land grants and the ranchos to, and it go to number tracks, to name tracks, to another subdivision on top of that subdivision on top of another subdivision. So you research all of that, and you present the package, and if there's something that fell out, whether it was a human error, say there was an easement in the preliminary title report, and for whatever reason, when they went to policy, the item didn't get carried over, and I had that happen. So,
oh man, that's terrible.
The guy was going to dig a pool, and he broke into a water vault that was under his property. And I'm going, well, it's right there in the report. It was item number 5. He goes, yeah, but it's not in my policy. And I said, hold on one second. This is when you still had hard files.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the policy, and I'm going, no, the typing department didn't put it in.
Oh, no.
So that was like $40,000.
That's terrible.
To fix that. But, back in the day, that $40,000, probably $150,000 today.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But, it's critical. They help you not only manage the file. Good escrow officer, knows and works his or her calendar to let you know, hey, look, you got 2 more days to approve the report. You got to go hard. There's no more contingencies. What's up? They're ordering the demands for payoff on any loans, any other items that may be there. Taxes, are they due or they already been paid? There's quite a bit that goes into it, and you can't do a real estate deal without title insurance. One, right. Your lender wouldn't make the loan. 2, you wouldn't be sleeping at night, because if I sold you a bridge and you go out there and try and collect tolls, you're getting arrested. Okay, because I didn't own the bridge. Right. And I'm in a non-return country, so they can't extradite me. So.
Now, speaking of lenders, like what are banks looking for, to close these deals? Do they see the real estate side of it, or do they see
They see both.
Okay.
They see both. And they're also looking at who the franchisor is. Okay. Is it a boutique? Is it an independent? What's your history as a hotel owner operator? It's easier to get a loan when it's a flagged hotel.
Okay.
Now, the adage is that the right flag adds 25% of the value to the asset. So, Big 4.
Yeah.
You look at Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, IHG.
Yeah.
A lot easier to get a deal done. Now, not taking anything away from our other brands, Choice and Wyndham. They've got terrific select service assets, and they're a real value add to those assets. And it's going to depend on what the hotel is. Is it a business hotel attached to a convention center? Is it urban core? I mean, you look at San Francisco, they dropped 23 points below 2019 RevPAR numbers. Okay, that market's a mess.
Hell yeah.
But that city's coming back. They just got to stop treating the small business owner, especially the hoteliers, like they're the enemy. They've got to treat them with respect and as a partner to bring the city back. And
because they're the ones that pay the taxes.
You betcha. We pay a lot of tax.
Yeah.
Transit occupancy tax, sales tax, real estate tax. It goes on and on. You're Florida, you got a sunshine tax.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right about that, but the taxes aren't as bad.
New York.
As Florida,
they got a clean water tax, but they got dirty water. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to it, and you want to surround yourself with the expertise to get those transactions done and closed on time. Your ability to close on time is critical. If you fall out of escrow, it's going to cost you something to get everything back in and everybody marching in the right direction.
Yeah.
So you need a title company that's proactive, that understands hospitality or understands the office market or the retail market, and they know what to look for, and they can help you. And they can guide you not only through this transaction, but the next one and the one after that. It's like the hotel business. It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything. I want to have that engagement with everybody. I want to be able to get that little bit of knowledge from them. Go, okay, yeah, now I can use that, and I can do that as well. So.
Absolutely. As far as the banks and financing, I remember back in the day they used to do 100%. Yeah. Are they still around the 100? Is it the 80? No. Is it 60? Like, what do we got going on?
It's really going to depend. And as interest rates ratchet up, I still think interest rates are great. Okay, anytime there's single digits, I think it's great. I started off in the 70s where you had double-digit unemployment, double-digit inflation, double-digit interest rates. Residential mortgages were at 19% if they were getting made.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Exotic instruments came into being. Leasing, was really the one that's still here today.
Yeah, that's right.
That really got kick-started back then in a lot of ways. But you also had the advent of the all-inclusive deed of trust, where you left the loan of record first that was there, the seller carried back and wrapped that, and then you had a third party making the payments to both the seller and to the holder of the first mortgage. There was also the land contract. So, you just can't shut off the real estate market. It's, a huge part of the economy. Yeah. So you need to do that. But, you've also had generations that have grown up with commercial loans being on par with residential. And that's just not sustainable. Okay, but we still get less than 1/10 of a point on our savings account if you got,
correct,
correct, savings account at Chase Bank or somebody else. I don't mean to pick on Chase. I use them. They're
I use them too. I use them too.
But yeah, so now 60%, 65% is what when I'm involved with a deal today. I don't want to go over 65% loan to value. You can still get 80-85% loans out there. Those are typically going to be SBA loans.
Okay.
And
they look at your toes, your toenails.
Everything.
They look at, hey, you got toe jam right there. Now we can't do this deal.
Exactly. But and now construction is not a good scenario right now. You're probably only going to get about 50% loan to cost.
Yeah.
So now you got a big gap. And how do you fill that gap? There's a couple of different ways. It's going to be some bridge money, some debt and equity, with a rain, with a waterfall back to those guys.
Yeah.
That they'll get first, and rightfully so.
That's right.
The other way is maybe some PACE financing, which is going to be substantially cheaper. Built into your tax bill, certain states, not in every state, but it is in most states now.
Okay.
But financing is always the key, but we also need to get used to, having a higher interest rate. We have to understand that. We need to readjust our pro formas, and we need to look more realistically. But also, take care of your team on site. They are going to make or break that hotel. You want them to be there. You want them to grow. You want them to prosper. Without them, what do you have? You got an empty box.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
yeah.
Now, in the hotel closing, when it comes to due diligence, what are like the top 5 things that you look for on your due diligence list?
The loans of record.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a lender that I don't know that I should get to know.
Okay.
That's one. I want to see how they hold title to the property. Are they an LLC? Are they an S corp? Taxes, very important. I want to know about the restrictions, covenants, conditions, and restrictions on the property. I want to make sure that I have the ability to do what I want to do with that hotel. If there's a liquor restriction in the CC&R, it said no bar, and I've got a bar in there. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look at all this. So those are the things that I look at, and we're looking for I'm looking down the road. I want to get into the deal. I want to prove my pro forma, and I want to refinance it.
Okay.
And I want to be able to have that event so my partners get some money. We put some more money back into the hotel, and typically that's when our PIP's going to come due as
That's
well.
Right. That's right.
So, and if you've got, I'm all about relationships with lenders. I'm more than glad to make a depository relationship, and let's see if we can work together.
Beautiful.
If you've got a lender that understands you, that understands your company, that understands the company's goals, and this isn't just a quick, let's prove the pro forma and sell it at the top of the market.
Mm-hmm.
You're a long-term investor. Your lending connections are gold, because they're going to come in to help you, and keep the lines of communication open if something goes wrong.
Do you recommend any like private equity, like hedge funds or anything like that, or you just stay away from those?
I think they serve a great purpose, and it depends on the transaction. Now, I'm not playing in the market of 100, 150 million or any of that anymore. Generally, our deals are substantially less than that. I'm going to say they're in that anywhere from, if it's something that needs to be scraped and it's a great acquisition price, say at that $10 to $15 million range. I can't believe I'm saying that, because it wasn't that long ago. There would have been like 2.
Yeah, right.
Up, and then getting into a good asset that maybe you're going to put a soft brand on it, because that's really going to give it the oomph that it needs.
Yeah.
Do about $25-35 million. So, you've got to have the right lenders, and whether it's private equity for that, or a bank scenario, or a CMBS, they all serve a function and a purpose, and you've got to look at all of them.
Beautiful. Listen, Craig, thank you for joining us. I think Glenn is still looking for you.
I think he is too. So,
tell everybody how they get in contact with you.
Hey, you can get a hold of me at Craig at CLIconference.com. Take a look at our website at CLIconference.com. And join us March 6th and 7th in Orange County, California. Big announcement coming up on that. You can find Click Connect on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And we're interviewing hotel leaders, dropping new episodes typically every Tuesday and Thursday. And then Friday afternoons at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Friday Night Audit with Glenn Hausman and myself. Don't forget 3-Minute Thursdays, where Glenn and I, two guys who like to talk way too much, talk about everything other than hotels. Who knows what we're going to talk about? We don't know half the time. So.
Fantastic. You'll see us.
Thank you, Bruce.
You'll see both of us at the next conference coming up soon. I'll send you some more information on that. Thank you for joining us for another episode of True Hotel Leaders, where leaders teach leaders.